Ignore him, I'm cuter! What is up, Lord Beanzoid here, and really quick I'm going to do a brief review of the Fender Ramparte amplifier. And I bought this amplifier for $350 new on Musician's Friend. And what it is, it's got a hot and a cool channel, a volume for each one of those channels, basically a gain knob. And that's really about it. It's 9 watts. With a 6L6 tube on the output, and then a pair of 12AX7s for each of the gains. Basically, this is one of the most simple amplifiers you can possibly have. It doesn't have any spring reverb or anything like that, and generally speaking, for how inexpensive it is, it's a pretty good sounding amp. It sounds good. I unfortunately will not be playing it for you. The reason for that is I have modded this amplifier quite a bit. And that might tell you right there that there were a couple of things that I didn't like about it. Primarily, the number one thing that I did not like about this amp was the speaker. The speaker is very thick, very bassy. It has a very low end tone. And I mean, if you crank up the gain, it sounds great if you're playing metal, but who buys a Fender to play metal? Nobody. What I did, I took out the old speaker and I put in an Eminence Legend 1258, in case you'd like to know. And Eminence makes much brighter sounding speakers, and so it gets a brighter, bluesier tone, which was why I bought it. I'm more of a blues player than a metal player. I'm not as much of a metalhead. I mean, I can't play metal. The other modification that I did was I actually swapped out one of the tubes. I took out the 12AX7 on the cool channel, the preamp tube, and I put in, if I remember correctly, it's a 5751. But if you don't know a lot about tubes, I'll just give you a really quick rundown. 12AX7 is the highest gain tube that they have, and the 5751 is about one step down from that. The main reason for that was because hot, cool. And yet they both have the same preamp tube, which is the highest gain preamp tube. If you want a clean sound, since this doesn't have a master volume, you get to about here and you start getting dirt. No bueno. It's a Fender, for crying out loud. You need to have a clean sound on the Fender. So I put in the different tube, and now it gets to about here before you start getting dirt, which is much better. You know, you can get a little bit of warmth up to about here, and then you can start grinding it around here. The hot channel, even with the same tubes on it, the hot channel is a lot noisier from the get-go, and it's just a whole lot dirtier when you have it at full volume than the cool channel. But still, I wanted more of a clean sound. I wanted to get a more decent volume out of the clean channel. So that's why I made that modification. Overall, I guess the bottom line behind this amplifier, is it worth it? I bought it new, $350. Honestly, I would probably give this amplifier a thumbs down. With the modifications, it sounds fantastic. But if you'll notice these three little screws on the front, that's because I had to essentially demolish the old ones. They were just little flat heads. They didn't have any place you couldn't put a screwdriver on it. I just basically had to grab pliers and clamp down on the outside of the things to hold them still so that I could get the nut off of the other side. This thing is not designed to be modified. They did not build it with that intention in mind. So if you want an amplifier to modify, don't go with this one. You know, honestly, I don't think this amplifier is worth the trouble or the noise. You could do better with $350. You could also do an awful lot worse. Like, as it is now, with the mods on it, it sounds fantastic. I really like the sound that I get out of this amp. And it's really simple. It's really basic. And it's a dang pretty amp, ain't it? Oh, this thing is just pretty. It's a good looking little amplifier. So there's my quick review of the Fender Ramparte. If you have a Ramparte, you want to add your own thoughts, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. And that's about it for this one, so peace. Lord Beanzoid signing off.